We've heard today that at the end of the day, this is the business for people, and about cities. And that's exactly what I want to talk about and share you some stories of our partners, what they've actually done, having the reliable platform, but thinking about what they can do for the local environment, for the local societies, for the local way of living and way of transporting and with traveling. We ask these questions to all our partners who come with an idea and they say, okay, I want to build the next Uber or someone. But we always start by asking the questions, guys, have you actually conducted the market research? Do you know what your market is about and who your market is represented by? The size, the growth potential, competitors. By the way, having a competition is a good thing. I know that sometimes it's scary, especially when you enter the market where there are global companies already represented, right? But having the competition means that the market is there. Your users already know what to do. They are familiar with working with apps. You don't have to spend a lot of time educating them all over again. So they're ready. They just need to understand what you can offer that is different from what your competitors are offering. Or maybe you can offer something that you can do much better than they can, or that can be completely different from what they do. You've just heard the story of eDrive, right? They started as an underdog with just a tiny tweak to the whole idea of ride hailing, and they've grown immensely. The way to do it, by the way, with the governmental research, what our partner in Taiwan did once, this is the zero emission venture. And you've also heard the trend with the EV vehicles, EV transportation being on the rise and receiving a lot of governmental support from all over the world in different countries. And this is exactly what Gaza did. So understanding the potential, they launched a ride-hailing service on the EV vehicles, and they've growing, and they've actually received some grants and support from government as well, which is a great example of what can be done. But when it comes to making yourself unique and finding your niche, I think it was Mr. Ben Lin from the second panel who concluded that competition is a good thing, and it's basically not the way to consider yourself a competition when you can actually find your niche and everybody has a way to survive on the market and not even survive but prosper. And some of such cases, actually a cute story from Indonesia. One of our partners, they've launched a service that's actually, I'm based in Bali, so I was like very listening to the story quite attentively. Incredible story of the bird. So Max, right? They're actually a manufacturer of 3 big wheelers. They wanted to enter the market not only as a ride-hailing business, but also exploring this particular vertical as a new channel for vehicle distribution. So they combined the advantages of both industries that they could offer to the market. They've started at Sulawesi Island. They're now going to be moving to other islands as well. And so they manufacturers of the 3-wheelers. So they were offering quite nice, let me put it this way, financial conditions for drivers to purchase the 3-wheelers if they work for the ride-hailing business. It's a win-win situation. Drivers were getting the way to earn money, especially in a rural, not very served areas. But they were also providing service to their own communities. Now that this particular rise of, trying to be diplomatic, the battle between the global companies and the local communities, we've seen the stories already. It's happening more or less permanently, and especially in Southeast Asia. I know that, for example, even in Bali, where I live, we had strikes of local communities against the Grab and Gojek drivers, which I think that's not very fair, because there are also honest people who want to earn their money and make a living. But nevertheless, that's why I think that it's always possible to create something new where already services exist. Knowing the business, it's also very important because we've discussed the digitalization, moving to apps, moving to different ways of promotion. But knowing all the particularities actually makes business owners now. What comparison to use? It's, like a multi-tool where you're required to know everything, right? You need to be proficient in economics, you need to know the logistics, you need to know people mentalities and psychological aspects, you need to know basically everything. And the more you learn and the more you work in that, that makes you really outstanding business owners. But it's also great to have a supporting tool that helps you navigate all that, because let's be honest, we are not, let's say, Marvel Avengers level of humans, right? We all are humans. We have our flaws and we need to sleep at least sometime. So learning everything, so it's becoming a challenge. But it's still good to actually do that, to go through different aspects of what it takes to launch a business. We help our partners by conducting all these type of educational activities where we share, let's say, go-to-market strategies and help them build the sustainable business, not just that would last for a month or two, but actually that would last for years. And sometimes even become, that's a changing life experience for countries, like that case of Cayenne in Saudi Arabia. It's an interesting story. The company was founded 7 years ago, and initially they wanted to launch in Riyadh, which is the capital. They couldn't, because basically in the capitals, it's more or less a battle of wallets. Who has the deeper wallet? Who has more marketing budgets? And usually it's like a red, bloody ocean of this, who can spend more. So they left. But they didn't leave the country, they left the capital, and they went to smaller cities, and they started there. And they grew, but what allowed them to actually become nationwide sensation was when they launched a women's service, a women driving women. You know that some time ago in Saudi Arabia, women were allowed to start driving, and that was a disruption of the whole ecosystem in a very good way, because women can provide a safer transportation for women, and they could be, more mobile. They can go to educational courses. They can do more things that they were never able to do before. And by the way, with the Waslini brand, which is the Women by Women Drive brand, they entered the capital and they became number one in serving this particular group of people. Oh, this is not maybe very fun and sometimes, intriguing part, but you need to know the operations. You need to know how the business works, how drivers think, how they can be paid, how you can serve them, what their daily challenges are. Because at the end of the day, this is a driver's business. I know that we've heard different stories. Some people say that it's passenger business. Some people say it's driver business. We've heard InDrive say that it's both customers and drivers. I am a driver supporter, huge one. But understanding the drivers, what makes them choose you over the competitor, that in most cases defines who you like, whether you succeed or not. Another case of our partners, it's actually an interesting story. I have Amit here, the founder of Guam. He will be presenting tomorrow, so he'll share way more details on how the business works and how they build it from ground up. But what they did differently, they understood what their drivers needed, what the environmental and cultural aspects of locations were, and they built a company that actually was number one in Guam. They sold the company successfully, but I'll leave it to you tomorrow to discuss and share more. And marketing. Okay, I am a marketing person myself. I do believe that understanding how market thinks, moves, buys, and what motivates users, how to reach your users, and users in both passenger and driver, that what makes you stand out. Because at the end of the day, you can develop whatever app you want with whatever strategy and philosophy built in. But if no one finds it, if no one downloads it, basically there's nothing to discuss, right? So you need to think what channels exist in your market, how to reach your customers, where they are, how they think, where they discuss, communicate, and this is all marketing. And with digitalization, of course, it becomes a combination of both online and offline marketing. Sometimes companies strive to underestimate one or the other aspect, but I think the combination is key here. And okay, I'm not going to be discussing this case because it's going to be too long, but nevertheless, marketing, if you want to know more, or not even exactly about the marketing, but it's not working yet, or about the solution, what can be possible, what services can be possible to build, we actually are going to be holding a right now meetup here on Saturday, me together with Mr. Amit. If you have any questions, you can scan the QR code here, sign up, and we can discuss it in more detail. I promise I'm not going to be as nervous as I am right now. And we'll have some coffee and snacks. So please join if you'd be here and interested no, the questions will be that day. So thank you so much. I try to stay in line with my timeline. Thank you. And okay, this is the end of the day, right? Cool.